I'm helping your teacher find out how you tell stories. First, I will read this story to you while you follow along. Then I'm going to ask you to tell a story using your own words. Are you ready? Okay. A porcupine named Fluffy. When Mr. and Mrs. Porcupine had their first child, they were delighted. Now he needed a name. Should they call him Spike? No, Spike was too common. Should they call him Lance? No, Lance sounded too fierce. Should they call him Needle Rooser? No, Needle Rooser was too long. Prickles, Pokey, Quilliam? Then together they had an idea. Let's call him Fluffy. It's such a pretty name, Fluffy. But soon there came a time when Fluffy began to doubt that he was Fluffy. He first became suspicious when he backed into a door and stuck fast. That was not a Fluffy thing to do. He was even more convinced when he accidentally slept on his back and poked holes in his mattress, a very unfluffy thing to do. When he tried to carry an umbrella, he knew the truth without a doubt. Fluffy definitely wasn't. So he decided to become fluffier. Clouds are fluffy, he thought. I'll be a cloud. But he couldn't stay up. I know, pillows are fluffy, he said. I'll be a pillow. But when his mother sat on him, she was not pleased. He tried soaking in a bubble bath for 45 minutes, but he did not become fluffy. He became soggy. He tried whipped cream. He put a little on each quill. It was not easy, and it took more than half a day. But this did not make Fluffy fluffy. They should have named me Gooey, he sighed. He ate a lot of marshmallows. He rolled in shaving cream and feathers. He even tried to become a bunny. But the truth remained, Fluffy wasn't. One afternoon, Fluffy set out for a walk, trying to think of ways to become fluffy. Before long, he met a very large rhinoceros. Grrr, said the rhinoceros. I'm going to give you a rough time. Fluffy didn't know what a rough time was, but he didn't like the sound of it at all. What's your name, small prickly thing? Asked the rhinoceros unkindly. Fluffy, said Fluffy. The rhinoceros smiled. He giggled. Then he laughed out loud. He rolled on the ground. He jiggled and slapped his knees. He roared with laughter. A porcupine named Fluffy, howled the rhinoceros. Fluffy was embarrassed, but he tried to be polite. And what is your name? He inquired. I can't say it, giggled the rhinoceros. Hubert, suggested Fluffy. Oh, help, I just can't say it. I'm laughing so hard, said the rhinoceros. Harold, or maybe Herman, asked Fluffy. No, gasped the rhinoceros. It's Hippo. Hippo? A rhinoceros named Hippo? Fluffy smiled. He giggled, then he laughed out loud. He jiggled and slapped his knees. He howled with laughter. A rhinoceros named Hippo, Fluffy cried. A porcupine named Fluffy. A rhinoceros named Hippo. It was almost more than they could bear. Hippo and Fluffy rolled on the ground, giggling and laughing until tears came to their eyes. At last they lay exhausted on the ground. From that time on, they were the best of friends. And Fluffy didn't mind being fluffy anymore, even though he wasn't. Now it's your turn.
The time when Mr. and Mrs. Porcupine had their first son, they decided that he needed a name. Should it be Hubert? Should it be Razor? But that was too long. Then they decided it should be Fluffy. But when Fluffy grew older, he decided that he didn't look fluffy. He got suspicious because he stuck to the door once. Fluffy things aren't supposed to do that. Then, one night, he accidentally laid on his back in his sleep, and his mattress stuck to his back. Fluffy things weren't supposed to do that. And once when he was holding an umbrella, the needles poked through it, and he knew for sure fluffy things do not do that. So he decided to try and be like fluffy things. A cloud. A cloud is very fluffy, but he couldn't at all stand up. A pillow. He thought that he knew that a pillow was fluffy, so he decided to be one. But when his mother sat on him, she was not at all pleased. So Fluffy decided to take a bath for 45 minutes. But he was not fluffy, he was just soggy. So he decided to put whipped cream on every single spike on his back, and it took a long time. But soon he was not fluffy, he was just sticky. So he decided to eat a lot of marshmallows, but instead everything stuck to him. So he decided to be a rabbit, but he didn't look like one. Fluffy couldn't think of any more things to be fluffy. So while Fluffy took a walk, he was thinking about what other things that are fluffy. When he approached a rhinoceros. Grrr, said the rhinoceros. And I am going to be mean to you. And what is your name, little pokey thing? Fluffy decided to tell him, my name is Fluffy. The rhinoceros smiled and giggled and laughed until he was on the floor, rolling, slapping his knees, and laughing as hard as he could. Pokey was not very happy with this reaction, but he decided to be calm with it. And what is your name? But the rhinoceros couldn't say because he was laughing so hard. Is it Hubert? I can't say it because I'm laughing so hard, said Rhinoceros. Just give me a hint. I can't guess anymore. It's Hippo. Fluffy began to smile, then giggle, then laugh until he was rolling on the floor, slapping his knees and laughing hard. They were both rolling on the floor. A porcupine named Fluffy, a rhinoceros named Hippo. They kept on laughing until they started to cry. Then, when they were tired, they were soon to be the best of friends. And so, Fluffy decided to just be